Hello everyone, welcome to another episode of Gripsport Latino. This is episode number 10. We're having today Alex Guiha. Pizza.
What's
Welcome
up?
again, my friend Alex. How are
Good.
you? How are you
Doing
today?
well. Good to talk to you.
Nice. It's been a while since we didn't hear each other voices like in
Yeah,
a
I know.
call.
We probably haven't done a FaceTime call since you visited, huh?
Exactly. I was looking forward to it, actually.
Yeah.
It was a good time. So, welcome everyone to another episode of Gripsport Latino. Here we are with the king. London Sherman says, King, with the king. Alex, Fits of Alex.
What's up?
Eh,
Uncrowned king.
I wanted to ask you about how do I pronounce your last name, Alex? Alex Guiha? Guiha?
Yeah, you got it. Second try. Gia.
Guiha.
Yeah.
That's it. I'm going to switch to Spanish just for a second. Bienvenidos, amigos, a otro episodio de Gripsport Latino, el episodio número 10. Estamos con el gran atleta, strongman, powerlifting, calisthenics, bending, Gripsport atleta, Alex Guiha.
So, what an introduction! I don't even speak Spanish very well, and I totally get that I'm already overhyped.
Yeah, I was telling everyone in Spanish what's your sports background, but let's hear it from yourself. Who is Alex? Tell us.
Real Alex or Pizza Alex? No, so they're the same person. At this point, they're the same person. That's mostly.
Yeah, so real Alex.
Real Alex. So I've always loved sports. I always played team sports. Like baseball was my first love. I used to be like pretty good, and then like my eyes got worse. Like when I was like 14 or 15, I had a growth spurt, so like my vision got worse, and all the pitchers got better. Like right around that age, they start like throwing like different pitches and stuff. And so like I started to struggle with baseball until like I got glasses and everything. And then by then I was like behind the curve a bit, so I never like played college baseball or anything like that. But so I sort of like started playing tennis more seriously, and then I graduated. And so then, at least in the U.S., like after college, there's not like a ton of options for team sports, you know? Like you can do it, but at least basketball is probably the easiest one. If you play basketball, like it's easy to like go to like the YMCA or something and play. But for like baseball, or if you played football and stuff, like you have to like join a league. It's like fairly difficult. So for a while, I didn't do so much sports. And then I got into softball because I was living in San Diego, and there are quite a few softball leagues. So that got me into playing sports again. And then I moved from California to Connecticut, at which point there really wasn't much of a softball scene. So I started doing kettlebell. Like my wife, actually, she's the one that got into it. She found this kettlebell gym, and so we joined that. And then I got like super into kettlebells. That was probably like 2012, and then I've been doing strength sports ever since. So we're like over a decade now.
Really nice. And about Fits of Alex, that's like the second personality who lifts weights.
Right? No, they're one and the same. Normal Alex and Pizza Alex are the same. I don't have a character. That's the funny part, is because it's like it would be a character, but it's just me. Yeah, so because that's how like I always am. Like you visit, like always try to do like something new and something different. So it's always like a new feat of Alex to be done. But yeah, so
Perfect.
But so once like strength sports started, so I started with kettlebell, and then I've done like a lot since then. So I did kettlebell, and then I sort of got into bodybuilding stuff after that, and that's sort of like transitioned to powerlifting, and then so from powerlifting, and then I moved to France for a year. I don't know if you knew that. So I moved from New York to France. Yeah. So I lived there for a year, and then it was like a little bit different. So they do have gyms there, but it's a little bit like it took me a while to like kind of find my footing there, and so I wasn't even like working out as much, but like I was like, what am I gonna like do? Like, I don't want to just like go to the gym just to like exercise or something, you know. So then like I started like watching YouTube, like, and that's when I'd like done some powerlifting, and so like I saw like all the West Side Barbell stuff, and I was like, oh, this is like real. This is like the powerlifting I want to do. They're doing like crazy stuff in the gym and everything. So I'm like, this is what I want to do. I couldn't like really do it in France, but I like learned like a ton. And then as soon as we got back to the US, I like hit the ground running. I like decided I didn't even want to do powerlifting. So I started like doing strongman. This is like 4 or 5 years ago. And, but I applied like a lot of those like West Side principles to my strongman training. And then, from there, so I still do strongman. Sometimes people ask me, because I don't compete that often, but like I still do strongman. And then like I found grip through strongman, which I guess we can go into some more like specific details on that for Gripsport Latino. That's basically that gets us pretty close to present day, because I still like do strongman even though it's not a very active schedule. I do like Gripsport, and then of course the bending, which we can talk about too.
Hey, in the comment section they are going wild.
Oh, good.
And Chess, they're thinking Totzilla, Chessa. I thought Alex looked French. French of Alex.
See, we're breaking news all over. I mean, maybe some people knew that I lived in France, but probably not everybody.
Nice. Well, I wanted to ask you your PRs in powerlifting, so people can know how strong you are. Like they can imagine squat, bench, deadlift. So it's like,
right.
This guy could be like.
I mean, so just like the most normal of powerlifting. So some of it's going to be a little bit different, because like my deadlift, I did it like strongman style. Like I've done 660, it was like 300 kilograms, like from the floor. But I think I was wearing straps, because in strongman you can wear straps. But it was like, basically like just a normal deadlift. I just had the straps on. Like squatted, like a normal squat without the box or anything, like 505. But my biggest squats have all been like box squats, like in training. Because like I said, like after I learned all the West Side stuff, I never actually competed in powerlifting then, because I like switched to competing in strongman. But I still was doing a lot of the training. So like I had some huge box squats. I did like 685 in like
Whoa.
Predator briefs. So they like helped the squat. And the box was probably a little bit high, but I mean, that was still like walked out with a straight squat bar. Like that's like 8 plates, right? Yeah. So,
yeah,
like,
it's a lot.
I remember the squat very vividly, because it was in my garage by myself. I was like, my life might never be the same again if this goes wrong.
Yeah.
But hi guys. So yeah. So I mean, like 505, just like a normal, like when you think of like a squat. But like I have like some huge box squats that I've done, like huge to me. And then bench, like 365, like a normal powerlifting bench. So I've still never done 405, which I feel like I have to do, even though like I don't really like, my training's pretty far away from powerlifting now, but that's like, I still at some point have to get into bench just to like do 405, because that's the 4 plates in pounds,
Yeah. I forgot to ask you your height and your body weight.
6'1", like 250 in pounds, maybe a little bit over, but it's around that. So
Nice.
That's under 120, right, in kilos? Yeah. Because I'd probably like in Gripsport, I'd be like the 120 class, I'm pretty sure.
Perfect. Well, speaking about Gripsport, how did you came into Gripsport? Was someone that show you the sport, or YouTube, Instagram? How was it?
So my very first like Gripsport like spark of interest was from deadlifting. I was probably deadlifting around 500, and I don't know, my double overhand was something in the 300s, and I don't know why I like got it in my head, but I'm like, I need to double overhand 405, right? And so I'm like, so I'm like, oh, why can't I double overhand 405? And so then I like, it's like the grip, obviously. Like, so So that was the first time I started working on grip, was because I wanted to double overhand on a normal bar. It wasn't not like an axle or anything, just normal like double overhand deadlift 405. That was like my first feat that I wanted. And
perfect.
So that was like the first like sparked the interest. And then so Martins Lisi is the strongman. So he had this YouTube channel. He still has the YouTube channel, but when he first opened the YouTube channel, it was like perfect. I don't think there had ever been anything like it, where you could see like a top strongman like every day, like his training. Like he was out in LA at a training hall. And so like it was must watch for anybody who did strongman, was Martin's YouTube channel back then. And so Ode Haugen's gym where he would train at. And so Martins would be like, prepping for the Arnold or something. And like Ode is like in the back of the video, like doing Saxon bar or something. And Ode's like, 68, 69 years old. And he's still doing his massive like world record level Saxon bar, or like whatever other like grip training he's doing in the back of the videos. I'm like, this is like amazing, because like one of the things, you always want to think about like your longevity. If you're like, if you're married to the game or whatever, you want to do strength sports for life. And so like Ode's in his late 60s, still at like a world-class level doing this grip stuff. And so I see it and I'm like, oh, I got to learn how to do that. Like that way I can like live forever. And so that was like, that was sort of my first like introduction to seeing like grip as a sport. Was seeing Ode Haugen in Martins's videos doing it. And then the timeline sort of was a perfect storm, because I was living in Queens in New York City in an apartment, and we just bought the house, which is in north of New York City. And so then like obviously I'm like, well, I got to have a gym. And then like a couple months later, all the gym shut down for the pandemic anyways. So I'm like, so that like even like advanced the gym thing, because we were doing remodeling on the house. It started like under 2019 where we got the house, but we didn't move until like July 2020. But still, like I just like drove up every morning to like work out like at the house, because there was no gym. So it was like, an hour. I'd like drive up at like 4:30 and I'd be back like home by like 8:30 or something, ready to start the day. But yeah, so in home gyms like really play well for a grip sport, because all the loading pins, like all the implements, they don't take up massive amounts of space. Like it's very easy. It's much easier. You do stuff at your house too, right? Like you don't always have to go to a gym to do grip training. So then it really took off, because like I'd just like been watching Ode do it, and then like I couldn't go to the gym, and like I didn't have the full gym setup yet. Like but I was able to start like piecing together a lot of the grip things. So it was just that perfect storm. I was this is like the perfect way to like train right now. And then I've kept at it since then.
Perfect. I really like it. Between all the grip disciplines, which one is your favorite?
So it changes over time. It's not always what I'm best at, but usually like so my favorite. I'll answer the exact question, then I'll say it. So I think thick bar is my favorite. I think it's the most glamorous. I think like if you're what you can do on the weights are heavier. Like your like axle is whatever 300-400 pounds, 500 pounds for some people. So there's like a lot of weight involved in the thick bar, and then the 2 3/8 has all the glamour of the inch dumbbell. I love like the 2 3/8 inch just bar as well. So I think thick bar is generally my favorite. The first thing I had like some knack at was V-bar lifts though. Like I had like an Excalibur or something. I did like 300 pounds on it. I was like the first person. Not to V-bar 300 pounds, but on like that specific implement that like raw form functional makes. It looks like an actual like sword. And I remember, so it was like very cool and like got like some people's attention. So that was like my first, one of the first times where I did like a grip thing where like people were like, whoa. And like the anvils too, like, cause I have like a 96-pound anvil, and, but I would like stack weight on it and stuff. So they're like very heavy. It's a little bit untrue, cause like if you're lifting like a 200-pound anvil, but it's like a 100-pound anvil with 100 pounds attached to it, it's still the horn size of like a 100-pound anvil, whereas like a 200-pound anvil is a much bigger horn. But still, it's like 200 pounds on an anvil horn. So so that was the kind of stuff that like I first was like good at. But I think like my overall like favorite though, and I think the most glamorous like a grip sport lift is V-bar, or sorry, is thick bar.
I think the same way. Thick bar is the one I enjoy the most, actually. And tell me which is your best feat, since you are feats of Alex, your best thick bar feat, your favorite.
So my favorite is well, I lift so okay. Well, actually, so my favorite one so far is so I've gotten to the, and it's also the one that it's still incomplete. So I've gotten to like 300 pounds on a 2 3/8 inch bar, and I really want to get to 330 pounds, like 150 kilograms, because Herman Gorner, his bar was like a fixed 330-pound 2 3/8 inch bar, like the famous old time strongman. And so I'd love, it was like his challenge bar. So I'd love to be able to lift that. And I want to be able to like lift the inch regularly. I've lifted it one time, the dumbbell. I lifted it once, and it was early last year. And I feel like even early last year, like lifting the inch dumbbell was like a completed feat. Like I lifted it, so I like started to do other stuff. And now though, like lifting the inch dumbbell is just like the intro to inch. Now like you have to like clean the inch, or like, you know, do 2 inches or an inch and 100 blob. Like, so I've like fallen behind the curve because I didn't keep up on it. So now I'm working hard to be able to like get back to lifting the inch also. But yeah, so I think my favorite one, when I hit 300 pounds on the 2 3/8 bar though, I was like psyched. I'm like 330 is like in reach now. So hopefully soon.
Big respect. I like it. And Alex, what about grippers? I see that you train grippers as well. How do you train them?
Okay. Questionably. No, so I'm learning. So I didn't really do grippers a lot. I had Captains of Crush, that set. I had it for a while. Like even that was actually probably one of the first like grip things I got. I didn't even like use them that much. And then I blame like Chaz on this one. I think a lot of people blame Chaz. Chaz loves Stranger Grip. He loves grippers so much that it's contagious. Like if you hang out with him, like you have to do grippers because it's hard. Like if someone loves something so much, you're like, oh, I want in on this, you know? So I started to do them, and then I needed like a motivation, I think, to like really like get me to commit to them. So I did this contest. Like I hosted like an online contest like end of last year, where you had to like bend a red nail and then use that to like set a number 2 gripper. And when I like came up with the contest idea, I couldn't really even close a number 2, but I gave it like a 3-month timeline for the contest. So this was like late last year. And that like got me doing them, because I'm like, it's my own contest. I can't like suck at my own contest, at least suck too much at it. So that got me. So I did like tons of like grippers for that, and it's probably roughly like a credit card with once you bend the nail like to pass it through. And so I was able to do that, and I actually like made so much improvement throughout it. Like my first one that I was even qualifying was like 30 seconds to like bend the nail and then pass it and close the gripper. And by the end, my final time was like 16 seconds, which was a good time, because I think 11 seconds was like the fastest time Josh Goldthorpe got it. He's so fast at bending. You know, he bends in like 5 seconds. So he did in like 11 seconds. And then Chaz won though, because he used a harder gripper, so he got like a time deduction. So like I was actually glad he won that, because he was the one that got me into gripper. So he won the gripper contest I did. And so then so that got me into them. By then I was like hooked. So the way I train them, I mean, I tried like a few things. Sometimes, you know, really the way I train them though, it's not like a training regime, but it's a good one when I'm like hanging out with the kid in the gym, because like, you know, grippers are contained. It's not like I'm swinging kettlebells near her head or something, you know? So like, I don't have like, so sometimes I'll just do them because like we're hanging out, and like, I can't like, it's harder to do other stuff. So I'll train the grippers, but I do like a lot of, I don't know, like, the MMS set, like the Mash Monster set, and then I like to do like wide ones too, and then you know, go from there.
But
so kind of like
it's
train the
like
two extremes.
So you like just go by the feel, grab them when you have a time, and close it, right?
Yeah,
like
exactly. So
Maximum?
I don't for grippers. I don't have actually for most of my training. I don't have like Monday, Wednesday, Fridays grippers or something like that. I just do them when I feel like it.
Perfect. Do you have any particular like gripper goal for this year? Something that you like to close?
Ooh. Well, now I want to get my 3 credit card set on camera because I did it. Messed up the filming and I closed it like just off camera. So that I think I can do that more imminently. So I'd like to be able to do harder threes because I've got 2 easy threes, like a 138 and a 140, and also like a 150. So this year I'd like to be able to regularly close the 150 at least from like the 20 millimeters. That way, because that's like that way I can feel more comfortable that I really close a 3, not just like close an easy 3.
Hey, we have a guest here. Here is online, David Horn. Hello, David.
Hi,
And,
David.
well,
I'm working on the blob. So I've done the 100 next gen. David sent me his Fat Man blob though, so I'm still working on the Fat Man. But
wow.
yeah, no, it's glorious. I'll have to show you afterwards. He like wrote a nice message on it for me and everything. So
Wow.
yeah, so I'm working on the Fat Man now because I'm like 1 blob away because I can do like a 110 Legacy and a 100 next gen. I just haven't gotten the Fat Man yet. But.
Hey, David says hi, you all. Hello, David. Big respect. Good to have you here. I love to invite you to the podcast in the future, David. I will reach you. Well, following with the questions, do you have any lifetime goal in Gripsport?
I never really set lifetime goals because I mean, like I'm just gonna like try to like I'll never hit a lifetime goal and be like, oh, that was good. Like there's always like a next lifetime goal. So I mean, like there's some stuff. I mean, I'd love to. I mean, I don't even know, like the 330, it's like a goal that I've been working on a long time on the Gorner bar. So actually, David's here. I learned about the Herman Gorner Challenge bar from your Iron Grip booklet. So, I mean, you've influenced me in many ways, David. So yeah, that's one of my goals is the 330 on the 2 3/8 inch bar. And like when I get that, I'll be super psyched. That'll be like as big to me as lifting the inch was. And, like I said, I mean, that's not like a lifetime goal because when I do that, I'll try to want to clean it or I'll want to like lift more or something, you know? So that's like a big goal. I ordered a Holly Millennium, the 104 kilograms. So when that
Wow.
comes, my goal is to lift that one day. That might be a lifetime goal. Like, I don't know if I'll be able to get 110 kilogram afterwards. I don't know who would make it for me. I don't know if I could clean that. So that'll be wild. And actually, a couple of us ordered them. So we're like the amount of 104 kilogram 2 and 3 like Millennium dumbbells in the US is about to explode. We're probably tripling the amount that we even have here.
I am really surprised because your gym and your grip collection is growing constantly. It's like amazing.
Yeah,
it's awesome.
I mean, yeah, especially actually my grip collection is probably growing the most right now because I've got like most of the strongman stuff I need, and my strongman schedule is like fairly light right now, so I'm not really like expanding. And anything that I would need for strongman would be huge. Like I don't, like a 30-foot like finger or something. I don't even know
like
if I should have that here. But I've got most of the basic strongman stuff and all the powerlifting stuff. I'm all set on that. So yeah, but grip. If you like getting stuff for your gym, grip is a great thing to be into because there's always something else to get.
Yeah, I remember your grip collection. You correct me if I'm wrong, but I remember that you had the pilgrim's hat from Jerome Bloom. It was like pretty specific. All the collection for our lifting Greece.
I've got Jerome's witch's hat. I had all of Arm Lifting Greece's implements before. He's got a couple new ones which I haven't ordered. I haven't put in a new order yet, but yeah, no, I have them. So I did something fun. You might not. I didn't know you when I did this, so you might not know about it. But me and Skillet Hands, have you ever heard of Brotherhood of the Traveling Paw?
Maybe I've seen
Okay,
some posts, and you have the group of implements with the group of people, and you were
yeah,
sending to each
yeah,
other. Yeah,
yes. So me and Nick, we put that together. That was
yeah.
how me and Nick got to be such good friends because he like believed in the vision right away. I think a lot of people. I don't know if anyone's really done it before. Basically, we picked like 5 hard to find in the U.S. Implements. They also fit in like a U.S. like a normal postage box, and then we sent them around the country. I think like at least between 15 and 20 different like U.S. Grip guys like got the package and did all the lifts with them. And some of them had like parties and stuff, where like 10 guys were over. And so it was huge. It was like a great success. Like it went to like Will Giuliani, like Squeeze Big he took them to like training hall for their like Grip Saturday or Grip Sunday. And, like Ode was lifting. I mean, that was like a great throw from me. Oh, like Ode's lifted all, like these implements have been blessed by him. So yeah, so that was like that was a really cool thing. Actually, that's one of the. Sometimes I feel like my accomplishments in grip are like overshadowed or like over exaggerated because of my friends' accomplishments, and that's one of the reasons I have so many like grip friends was because me and Nick did that. Like, so, every new place it goes, you talk to them for a while, tell them like what all the stuff is, like what's going on. So I made like tons of like grip friends that way. So I think sometimes some of their like accomplishments I get like lumped into them, like whereas my accomplishments probably are not at that level.
I understand. What's the thing that you like the most about Gripsport, Alex?
I like that you can always do like something different. It's very easy to do like a different variation. Like either you like hold the implement differently or you do like a different combo of implements. Like the combinations are endless. And I always like every workout to do like something I haven't done. And Gripsport like really allows that to flourish. I mean, even like deadlift, there's even if I could come up with like 12 different ways to deadlift, like I'm gonna have done those 12 like in no time at all. But like Gripsport, it's limitless the possibilities you can do. You can always check like something's always a first time attempt.
Excellent. Do you have any Gripsport hero? Something you look up to? Someone you admire?
I mean, yeah. So like of the Titans, whatever. I mean, I consider like Ode is one of them. Like David Horn's one, and Steve Weiner's another. And I think like all 3 of them like have shown great longevity. And I think that's going to be my biggest like takeaway from Gripsport is that you can lift for like your whole lifetime. I think that's like the biggest thing. And I think from all of them, they've like all shown that.
Perfect. I like that as well. I would love to stay in the game like until early in my life. I hope so. Yeah. I will play my cards to achieve that. We have a question from the oh no, before that. There was a greeting from one of our previous guests, Tiziano Vecchio, another strong guy on the channel. Big respect to Tiziano, a really strong fella.
I love Tiziano.
Have you seen his videos?
Yeah.
Really
all
strong.
Them. I mean, now that is his grippers are just amazing. Like it's so exciting to watch, and he closes them with such authority. Like like I close mine, I'm like messaging all my friends. Do you guys like think it was closed? Like Tiziano's grippers are slammed shut.
Yeah, it's crazy. It's really crazy. I actually met Tiziano on Instagram, and he asked me right away, "Hey, do you have a WhatsApp?" And then just audio messages. Really nice guy, really humble. And freaking strong. He's like going places. He's going places.
Yeah. No, I love it. Yeah, I love it. It's just so much authority that he like closes them with. I love it.
Another star joined the live. Canuck of all trades, Josh Goldprop. Hello, Josh. How are you?
Time to make it the
and there's a comment chat. Of David Horn. David Horn says, yes, never give up training. Strength is a key to a long, healthy, and happy life. No, wise words, David.
Exactly.
Thank you so
Very
much.
True.
So there's a question from one of the fans of Gripsport Latino. Dan Bugler compass, Ben Helms.
Oh,
Which is the most valuable piece of gym equipment and your most favorite piece of gym equipment? So those are two questions. They're not necessarily the same, like the most valuable and your favorite. So
most valuable. Ben with the hard-hitting question. So I would say 24 kilogram kettlebells, so like the 53-pound ones. I feel like you can really do everything. It's for a guy. Like, I mean, I think for like, for a reasonably strong guy, for like a guy starting out, or for a woman, maybe like the 35-pound ones might be. But I think for like stronger guys, I think the 53-pound kettlebells, like they're heavy enough you can get strong, and light enough you can do volume. Like you can use them like dumbbells. You can use them for grip stuff. If you're trying to like flip over the 24 kilogram kettlebells with your wrist, that's like quite a tall task. So I would say if you make me pick one, that's the one I'm going to pick. It's a hard answer, it's a hard question, but I will go with 24 kilogram kettlebells. My favorite piece of gym equipment, the second would probably be some weight of a sandbag. I don't know, maybe like 180-pound sandbag or something, like still light enough that you can do a lot with. My favorite. So the piece of equipment where from before and after I ever used it was like this aha moment, was a real deadlift bar, like because I'd always just like deadlifted on power bars or gym bars or something. I remember the first time I deadlifted on a Texas power bar, I was like, oh, that's what I want to lift with. It was like this moment. I was like, oh yeah, that's how it's supposed to feel. You got like the whip, and it just like hits perfect. So I think Texas deadlift bar. That was, I mean, if I thought for maybe I could think of other stuff, but that's the one that it was like from before and after. I was like, oh no, I don't want to use anything else for the rest of my life.
perfect. Before we start our bending section, I want to throw a miscellaneous question from myself about power twisters.
Yes.
Do you consider that power twisters can improve your grip strength, meaning improving your gripper game, improving your thick bar and your wrist, of course?
So yes, but so I do think that I do think they improve your overall your overall grip, wrist, forearms, elbows, everything. But I don't know if there's like a specific carryover. Some people are really into carryover. I'm not one of those people, but some people really, they want to like know what everything they do, how it's going to affect like a specific thing. They're like, I want to know, like, I want to only train things that are just going to make my pinch grip better or something. Just making that up. But so like, I don't know if like a power twister is going to like make your pinch grip better or something. But I do know that if you're like doing power twisters, like you're going to learn how to like display your force, which is very important for all lifts and all grip. Like, because you could do all this stuff with great carryover, very specific things. But if you don't know how to actually accomplish something, then you're going to like be limited on what you can do. But if you have to like work really hard to like close a friggin' power twister, and then you get it, and then you like learn how to display and like show that force, then that's going to like help in all your grip. So there's going to be like some like structural increase, but it's just like a display of force, which I think a lot of people, I don't think it's just limited to Gripsport. I think like all training in general, like people worry very much about like the actual like structural development, and but it's just as important to be able to display that structural development like through like exerting your force. And I think the power twisters really help that, because you have to hit them like real hard and real perfect. So I would say yes. But it's like a high level yes, because a lot of people, you tell them that and they're like, oh, I whatever, I just want like something that'll like carry over. I'm like, okay, I can't help you. But like if you just want to like be a gangster who can like really like use their strength, I think they're great.
Excellent. When you were discovering these new sports like all-time strongman, Gripsport, bending. Which one was the first you discovered between bending and Gripsport?
Oh, Gripsport definitely before bending. So I'm new to bending. I only started bending early last year, but still just last year. So yeah, so I've been doing Gripsport for a few years, and old-time strongman too. So old-time strongman stuff, when I got the gym at my house, that's when I started to do. So that was like 3 years ago, like old-time strongman stuff, because you need a lot of space and you need to like learn how to do this stuff. It's kind of hard when you're in a commercial gym to be like doing a barbell bent press, like you can like kill 4 people like before you learn how to do the lift. Like, so no, once you but the world's your oyster when you have like the yard and like the basement and everything. So that's really what got me into the old time strongman, was just the freedom to be able to do it. But no, so steel bending, I was into grip sport and everything, but I didn't know much about. I mean, I knew the concept of steel bending, and actually, I did know a little bit about the brace bending, at least at a low level, the kind where it's a longer bar and you bend it over your body, like you bend it around your knee or something. So I had like some concept of that. But so real steel bending started last year. John Mauser, who you met at my place, like so
Okay.
he probably like 6 months before you met him, he was like, "Hey, Alex, I'm like working on developing like a performance strongman course." So he's like, "Do you want to like take it? And, like, I'll teach you all the stuff." And I was like, "Absolutely." And so, steel bending is a big part of performance strongman. So he's the one that taught me like all the steel bending that I know. He taught me all the ways, like double overhand, double underhand, reverse. He taught me all the brace bending properly because I just like knew it conceptually before. He taught me how to bend horseshoes. So he's the one that got the ball rolling. And since then, I've gotten really into like competitive steel bending, which is a little bit different than performance steel bending, because performance steel bending, it's more like to entertain the audience. So you do it a little bit differently, so they can see more things like that. Whereas like competitive, like steel bending, you're trying to just bend the hardest stuff, which might not necessarily look hard to an audience. So you wouldn't do that at a show. But so I veered a little bit away from that, but he's the one that really got me on the track, and it's been going since then.
Which was the first thing that you bent? Was like a timber tie, or I don't know, a trainer, or what was
Yes,
it?
yes, it was a timber tie was the first thing I bent. So I didn't have them at first. I had like the 60D nails, which I couldn't bend at first. And so for a couple of weeks I was like, what is this steel bending stuff? This is impossible. And so then I got a timber tie. The timber ties, like I ordered some of those, and I was able to bend it like underhand and then like finish it overhand. So we're still like almost a month in, and I like still couldn't get in the position, because it's like now that's like the way I do it, like is the big double overhand bends. But it took me a while to like learn how to do it. So it's not like for unbraced bending, it's not like I was a true like savant or something. It's not like I grabbed a bar. I know like some guys, like they've bent like a red nail like the first or second day they ever like picked up a bar. But me, like it took me a little bit of while to get the hang of it. But then I feel like it was like struggle for a bit. But then once I got the hang of it, then I think I like took off. So it was like a delayed start. But once I started, then it like went up really fast. So that was great. That was the good news.
When you did your first bend, the 60D nail or the timber tie, I don't remember which was the first, but which pads did you use?
Ooh, it was probably Iron Mind pads would have been the first. Maybe by then I had like some David Horn pads too, but either way it was like thin pads, and so like I stuck with the thin pads for a little bit, and so I was bending the timber ties, maybe bending 60Ds before I got like the like leather pads and like learned how to make like double wraps and stuff. And then that's like when it really took off though, like was when like I learned the double wraps. I sort of had to then work backwards on like a minimal wrap bending, because like my double wrap bending took off, and like so I like forgot about the other parts for a while. But
Speaking about pets, London Sherman, he has a question for you. Which is your favorite grab combo?
favorite wrap combo? black cordura on the bar, and then like vegetable, like a thicker leather, like a vegetable, real like vegetable tan leather. I know sometimes some suede and leather blends into each other, but like a real proper vegetable tan leather over black cordura. It's my favorite combo.
Perfect. And how do you manage like the bending training? Do you bend every day or every other day? How do you do it?
So I did bend pretty much every day when I first started. Now I can't quite bend every day, like just because the bends are harder. But I still bend a lot. Like I'll go through like bending binges, and then like I'll just bend until like I suck, and then I'll like recover. So it could be like 3 days, it could be like 5 days in a row, like 6 days in a row. Like I'll just bend as much as I can, then like when I suck, then I'll recover until like I think I'm recovered, and then do it all again. So I just go through like bending streaks. I don't do like every other day or like every third day or anything like that. Like when I'm bending, I bend as much as I can until like I'm worn out.
Perfect. And which are like good supplementary exercises for someone who wants to dedicate to bending? Like, I don't know, bench press, shoulder presses. What gives you a good carryover?
Good catch. So one of the biggest ones I think is like the various like shoulder mobility things versus like the strength things. I think that most people, until maybe you get to like such a high level, so technically sound at bending that your strength limits you, I think most people are more limited by their mobility and their ability to like exert their force into the bar. So I mean, I'd say really like early on, you really want to work on the mobility stuff, like, any type of like pulls to like increase like your I don't know what all the shoulder girdle muscles are called, but all that stuff, just loosen up. So, because you want to be able to like get back as far as you can. And so if you're like super tight or don't have the mobility to get the bar up and back, then like that's going to be like your biggest limiter. You're not really limited by like how much you can bench press or shoulder press for a really long time. I do think maybe like at some point, if you're like the tippy top in the world and you do everything perfectly, then maybe like to be able to get the next bar, like you might just have to get stronger. That might be the limiter. But for 99% of benders, I don't think it's their overall strength that's the issue. It's their ability to like use their strength. And upright rows.
Wait a sec. That's perfect. Upright rows. Hello, Nathan. Such a legend again in one of the lives. Shout out to Nathan. Such a nice guy. I had him as a guest last week. Really,
yeah.
We have only. I don't know how to say it in English, but we have like only rock stars in Gripsport Latino. Pure rock stars right here. Well, Alex, which are your goals in bending this year? What do you want to achieve? Like, I am not really familiar with the thicknesses and the types of metal, but show me, teach me. I learn everything.
I'll answer it in like bender speak and then try to like make it more understandable too. So Harito, Jan Heller, runs like the most competitive certification in the world right now. I think it's been that way for a couple of years, at least since I started bending. And so like there's like 6 different bolt levels on there. And the 2 hardest ones have only been done by like 5 or 6 people over the last 3 years. And, even amongst them, only like half of those are probably still active. So, and then so that's the top 2 bolts. Then the third bolt, then you get to like the pack or whatever, the first level of pack. So there's like the super like world class. Then like there's the pack, there's probably like 15 or 20 people who have done, it's called an 8.8 bolt. So I've done that and, others have. So like that's sort of like where like the hungry lions are at, trying to get to like the 10.9 bolt. So Josh has done the 10.9. He's in it. So that, he's like, oh, damn, Josh, you are like the man. But so that's like what I want to do is the 10.9. So I've tried a couple times seriously, and I've gone it to like 4 inches. So I bent it, but it's gone to like where the gap is like 4 inches, and you have to get the gap to 2 inches, like the ends within 2 inches. So I'm like getting close. But so that's like a big goal of mine, because I think that's like really like you've made it. Like once you've bent like that bolts, because only like a couple of people have, and I feel like like the 8.8 is also a big accomplishment, and like you have to like work very hard towards it. But like then there's it's like a big jump to the 10.9. So hopefully I get that, because that only like a few people have done, and then so otherwise, so that's like the really like publicly recognizable one is the Harito list, because once you're on, then everyone looks at it and everything. But there's other like bends that I want to do. I have a whole sheet of them that I made, probably like a dozen bends. But like some of the old certification bends that aren't even active anymore, but like Fat Bastard has a lot that like I still want to do them even though you don't get on the list. Like King of All Bastards is like a real beast of a bar. So it's like 3/8 of an inch by 7 inches long. And the gold nail is the same bar. It's like cold rolled steel. So it's the same 3/8, but like 8 3/8 inches. So it's a little bit longer. So mathematically it's easier to bend, but it's also hard to like, have the mobility to do 8 3/8. So I want to do them both, like the King of All Bastards and the gold nail. I've done gold nail before, but not like unbroken. Like I bent it and like been too tired and had to like go back. So that one I bent the whole way, but I just want to be able to get it like in one smooth bend. And then like the King of All Bastards, which is the shorter version of the gold nail, like to be able to do that also. I've never gotten that one like at all. I've done it at like 7.5 inches in multiple sessions. So it's a little easier when it's longer. So I have to get down to 7. So those are like some of the biggest goals. Then I've got like other like goals that are really like that only like they wouldn't get me on any list or like anybody would care about them but me. But like I'd like to do like a red nail, like equivalent, like a bastard bar, but at like 4.5 inches, like an insane bastard.
It's really
I've been
short.
very close to that, yeah. And then so those are some of like the specific bends. But also, there's I can hype my contest, right? The King of Cold Roll Steel is coming up, and we have 8 the top benders in the world, and we're all going to be going at it. So I would like to, I'd like to get in the top 3. Obviously, I would like to win. Derek Graybill and Josh are both in it, and they will be awfully hard to like get above them. And I'm still going to try. But if I get a top 3, I'll be thrilled. And the King of All Bastards is one of the bars in there. So if I could get that bent during the contest, would be even sweeter.
Perfect. There's a miscellaneous question here from a fan. He asked, have you ever got into arm wrestling, Alex? I bet your hands are as strong as a bear.
So I have not ever gotten to arm wrestling. It's one of the only, I think, things I haven't done in strength sports. I'm very weary of getting into it because I feel like, well, if people go into arm wrestling, you lose them to arm wrestling. They become obsessed with arm wrestling and constantly injured. And maybe that's not actually true, but that's sort of like the perception. So I'm trying to, I don't know. I'm sure at some point I'll do it, but I haven't done it.
There's another. That's your next challenge. Trying arm wrestling.
No.
Let's see how it goes. Well, going like to the last section of the live, I want to ask you. I know that you do a lot of stuff in your life. You manage your work, family, your sports career. Do you have a really active social media? How do you manage to do everything and make everything work?
I just do it. So I try to like do stuff that I like to do. Then it's like a little bit easier to do it all. So then it like doesn't all like feel as much work. So that's probably the easiest thing. Because I mean, I like love to lift weights and all that stuff. And you notice like I don't heavily edit my videos, and I don't I don't like, because I don't really enjoy like video editing or something. So social media is like fun for me because I just like put the lift up there. It's not like some elaborate like production or anything like that. So it takes me like only a few seconds then like so I can like do it more often. So I like years like when I first started, when I was doing bodybuilding, I tried to do like a YouTube channel and like of all that. And it was very difficult for me to like edit the videos, and I didn't enjoy doing any of that part. So I like didn't get that into it, and it was like a bit of a chore. So that's why I like Instagram. Like I just put the videos up there, so it, like I don't consider it to be like, oh, I gotta like keep up this social media presence or something. I just like put up the videos, and I don't like worry too much about them.
Perfect. I love the part that you do stuff that you like to do. That's a really good takeaway, to do stuff that you really like.
Yeah, and
David Horn says, arm wrestling is a great sport. Technical info is a must. It will affect the rest of your training though. Wise words from David. There's a follower from Chile, Andres Quiroga. Hola, Andres. He wants to know, he wants me to ask you, which is your max axle deadlift one-handed?
Ooh, one-handed. So on the Iron Mind axle, I did for Joe Hodgson. It was a little under 185. It was like 183 or something. So like 80 something in kilograms. But yeah, so it's like I think it was 183 or so. It was over 180 and under 185. Doing it one-handed, and I think I've been in the 340s with two hands on the Iron Mind axle, which I remember because it was just short of 350, and I was hoping to get to 350.
Perfect. Para Andrés, Alex ha levantado 83,2 kilos en la axle de Iron Mind. Really good lift. Well, about the future, Alex. Let's talk about like 5 years in the future, sport-wise. Where do you see yourself?
Ooh, well, so I mean, I just similar things that I'm doing now. Just hopefully I'll be better at all of them. For grip-wise, hopefully I'll have a couple of like bigger grip, like actual contests under my belts, because like I haven't done a lot of the actual competing, and I think like I don't necessarily feel like I have to compete for like my personal satisfaction, but I feel like there's like some importance to competing that like sort of like makes it all real when you're at the contest with everybody. Like, so I want to do like a few more, like at least try to maybe do like one a year, even if it's not like constant. So within 5 years, then I'll have had more experience, even if I just do one a year, in the actual competing side of grip. And hopefully all my feats will be much higher level feats. Maybe in 5 years, I'll be where Den Douglas was 6 months ago.
That's a really high level.
Yeah, exactly, right? I'll be the second best feetist in the world. If I'm like that 6 months ago, then, and then he could be the best one.
Perfect. There's a comment that caught my attention from Joy Brown. Great interview, Alex. Yes, we are all just one blob away. Like
exactly.
What does it mean? The one blob away.
Oh, I think when I was saying I was like one blob away from lifting the fat man earlier.
Oh, I understand. I must be like a couple of blobs away. I don't know. We will find out.
Yes, exactly.
When the blob arrives.
I'm excited to see you with it. Yes, so the one you have, I would say, would be two blobs away. Because you do the 100 legacy, and then the 110 would be like one blob away.
Okay. There's another question from a fan. Alex, would you ever get into all-time strongman stuff like breaking chains? I know you do all-time strongman stuff, but have you tried breaking chains?
So I've done the chain breaking where the chain is like attached on one end and you have to you put it onto like a straight bar or something and you have to break the chain. I've done it before. I should do it more often. The trouble is the chains fly everywhere and then you have to like find all the chains and stuff, but I have done it. So as far as breaking the chains that are tied up around me, I would do it if someone wants to if someone would tie me in chains, maybe when Tim's birthday or something, I would go down there. His birthday present, he can be to tie me up in chains to try to escape.
Well, if you guys do it, please record it, because I remember when you when I went to your place, you were like with the big power twister. 1, 2, 3, like 6, and no one recorded.
Ah!
We know we were the witnesses.
Right,
That's
exactly.
it.
And that's how sometimes I get too excited. Like I rarely record like when I'm around people because I'm like most of the workouts I'm by myself, so it's like easy to remember to record. But when I'm with everybody, I'm like caught up in the moment, and so all the best stuff goes unrecorded. But so if I get tied up in chains and have to break myself out, we'll record it.
Recorded.
Yeah.
Well, Alex, last words belongs to you. What would you like the audience to take away from this lovely interview?
I think just to like training, it's important for your health, but it's just like have fun with it. Like you don't owe anybody like a path. Like some people like they feel like everybody is like, they have to like achieve a certain level for other people. Like the other people don't care that much. Like you care way more than they do. So just do the stuff that's fun for you. Like if you've been like doing one sport for a long time and it's getting stale, like instead of just like quitting that sport, just like transition a little bit, like start like dabbling in another one, like just something to keep it fresh and fun. Like there's always something out there that you'll enjoy. So just keep it light. Like we're all just like having a good time with it. Nobody's maybe a couple of us are professional athletes, but most of us, it's just for fun. So just enjoy it.
Perfect. I really love this interview, Alex. I really appreciate you taking 1 hour of your time to come and chat with me.
Thank you so much for having me.
Message.
No, I loved it. It was perfect. I can't wait to see you again next time you're back in the States. So you have to swing by.
My wife said we are going to New York
Perfect.
again, so we will see each other again.
Exactly. Can't wait.
So maybe next year we will see each other again, and maybe for our next episode of Gripsport Latino. But we will be seeing each other soon, my friend.
Perfect.
And thank you for your time.
Thank you so much. All right.
So goodbye, everyone, and see you next episode. Goodbye, Alex. Good to see you.
Yeah, it's great.